WNBC-FM, New York.
NBC Radio continues its New Year's Eve All-Star Parade of Bands celebration across the nation. This is Jerry Roy welcoming you to the Frontier Hotel here in the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, for the music of Harry James and his orchestra.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year to you all. Welcome to our New Year's Eve edition of By Request. That opening clip that you heard is from one of the long-running New Year's Eve NBC All-Star Parade of Big Bands that really started in the mid to late 40s and went all the way up until the early 70s. That particular one was a clip from the New Year's Eve of 1968/69. And when I was a kid, my dad and I, if my dad didn't have a gig, he was a musician, we would set up and listen to the AM radio all night, long after the rest of the family had gone to bed. And we'd listen to all the bands, and they would start in New York City, and then they would work their way west, ending up in either the West Coast or Las Vegas. But anyway, what I want to do today, tonight, is try to recreate a little bit of that for you. And this is going to be my version of Remember the Greats, the parade of the great big band singers and leaders and soloists, and I hope that that you enjoy some of the songs that I've chosen for you today. So here's the first one. It was first recorded by Frank Sinatra in 1943, and then in 1945 Frank reunited with his old boss Harry James in an all-star bond rally. And then again, in the late 50s, early 60s, Frank recorded the song with Billy May and his orchestra. So let's get the music started. Saturday night is the loneliest night of the week, 'cause that's the night that my sweetie and I used to dance cheek to cheek. I don't mind Sunday night at all, 'cause that's the night friends come to call. Monday through Friday go fast, and another week is past. But Saturday night is the loneliest night of the week. I sing the song that I sang for the memories I usually seek, until I hear you at the door, till you're in my arms once more. Saturday night is the loneliest night of the week. Saturday night is the loneliest night of the week. I sing the song that I sang for the memories I usually seek, until I hear you rap on the door, till you're in my arms once more. Saturday night is the loneliest night of the week. Billy May, Frank Sinatra. Well, I want to pay tribute right now to the great Duke Ellington. And here's a song that was written in 1940, and the title of the song was Never No Lament. And it actually was recorded under that title, and for a couple of years, it was an instrumental tune that featured Lawrence Brown on trombone, Johnny Hodges on alto saxophone, and Cootie Williams on trumpet. And then about 1942, Ellington commissioned someone to write some lyrics, and the song became Don't Get Around Much Anymore. And the version that I'm going to sing today was also arranged by Billy May, this time for Nat King Cole. Don't Get Around Much Anymore. Missed the Saturday dance. Heard they crowded the floor. Couldn't bear it without you. Don't get around much anymore. I thought I'd visit the club. Got as far as the door. They'd have asked me about you. Don't get around much anymore. Well, darling, I guess my mind's more at ease. But nevertheless, why stir up memories? Been invited on dates. Might have gone, but what for? Awfully different without you. Don't get around much anymore. Well, darling, I guess my mind's more at ease. But nevertheless, why stir up memories? Been invited on dates. Might have gone, but what for? Awfully different without you. Don't get around much anymore. It's awfully different without you. Don't get around much anymore. You know, Billy May, what a genius that guy was. And it was always fun to hear a Billy May chart, especially when it had a vocalist involved. If you notice in that instrumental chorus, Billy changed keys and played part of the song in one key and then changed keys back to Nat Cole's key for the vocal. So that is just, I love listening to it. Anyway, it's Harry James time, ladies and gentlemen. Time for a commercial. Harry James, trumpet icon. People ask me, Chuck, what have you been doing during the lockdowns? Well, I wrote a book. Wrote a book about my hero and a man that was a friend and a mentor to me, the great Harry James. This is different than any other musical biography that you would ever read. Not only does it talk about Harry James as a person, but you hear stories from my viewpoint and from the viewpoint of many of the musicians who actually were part of Harry's band. And it's exciting to have 13 different members of the James Orchestra involved in helping me write this book. Anyway, you can get it on Amazon. Paperback is selling for $21.99. The Kindle ebook version is $9.99. If you haven't read this, I think you'll really enjoy it. Anyway, it's request time. and Harry James time, all at the same time. This one, this request was from my friend Daniel Scuiry. Let me say, I put the link below in the description of my video with where you can send a request. If you want to hear a particular tune, if I can do it, I'll include it in one of my monthly videos. And also I have a link down there to my tip jar on PayPal. If you feel like you want to contribute to what I do here, helping to keep the music alive and investing in tracks and equipment, I'm trying to upgrade the quality of the production values. But anyway, Daniel Scuiry from the beginning has been one of those guys that not only contributed requests, but he contributes financially. And a couple of weeks ago, I got an email from him, and he asked me if I had a track on Velvet Moon, and the short answer was no. However, I told him, let me work on it. So, I took one of Harry's recordings of Velvet Moon, and I tried to dampen Harry's sound a little bit on the track. And then I sent an email to my friend Denny Ilett. Now, Denny Ilett, let me just throw this in here. He lives in England, and we've been friends for several years. And he is probably the most talented human being on the planet, at least from my perspective. He's a world-class guitar player. He can play like Freddie Green, and then he can play like George Benson, and then he'll turn around and play like Jimi Hendrix. And he plays some trumpet, and he's a great arranger, singer. And so I sent him an email, and I said, hey, Denny, do you have a transcription of Harry's solo on Velvet Moon? He said, let me see what I can do. And by that night, I had the transcription of Harry's solo. Well, Velvet Moon was an attempt by Harry and Columbia Records to catch lightning in a bottle twice. He had a hit recording on the instrumental Sleepy Lagoon early in 1942. And he recorded what Columbia thought was going to be a hit. It was an instrumental called Prince Charming. And in July of 1942, they went into the studio and recorded Prince Charming, and then recorded Velvet Moon on the B side. Well, a few months later, when the recording was introduced, the recording ban was going on, and Velvet Moon became a hit. And it's one of those Harry James solos that sounds like it's easy, and it's not. So anyway, Daniel Scuiry, this is for you. I hope I don't butcher it too badly. It's Harry's recording of Velvet Moon. Daniel Scuiry, that's for you. And I appreciate the request and the financial contributions. Thank you so much. That's not an easy tune to play, especially to try to play it the way Harry did. Well, here's another song that I wanted to do. When I first started singing, I was about 27 years old. And the guy that I first wanted to emulate as a singer, the guy that's whose voice really impressed me, was Bob Eberly, who sang with Jimmy Dorsey's band. And Bob and Ray Eberly both were band singers. And in fact, I'm going to do one of Ray's songs in a little while. But Bob Eberly changed the spelling of his last name. Instead of an E at the end, he added a Y. And in 1939, he was hired by Jimmy Dorsey to be the male singer. At the same time, Helen O'Connell, the same year, was hired to be the female vocalist. Well, in 1941, they became known for a musical arranging gimmick. Gimmick's probably not a good word, but a type of an arrangement which would feature Bob Eberly in a romantic ballad version of the song on the first chorus, and then Jimmy Dorsey and the band would do an interlude, and then Helen would come on with kind of saucy style and saucy lyrics on the last chorus. So I wanted to do this song, but I didn't feel like I could sing the Helen O'Connell version and do it justice. So I'm going to do the Bob Eberly vocal, and you're going to hear the Jimmy Dorsey part in the middle, and then I'm going to allow Helen O'Connell to come and sing her part at the end. So I hope you enjoy the Jimmy Dorsey version of Tangerine. Tangerine, she is all they claim, with her eyes of night and lips as bright as flame. Tangerine, when she passes by, señoritas stare and caballeros sigh, and I've seen toast to Tangerine raised in every bar across the Argentine. Yes, she has them all on the run, but her heart belongs to just one. Her heart belongs to Tangerine. Tangerine, Bob Eberly, and Helen O'Connell. I got to see Bob Eberly sing one time, 1972 in Miami, and he was already experiencing emphysema and health-related problems dealing with being a heavy smoker. Really nice guy. Helen O'Connell went on to become a TV star in her own right for many years. She was on the Today Show back in the 60s. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying the music tonight. New Year's Eve. Can you believe it? 2021. Hopefully it will be a tad better than 2020 has been. Well, here's a song. When I was a kid learning to play the trumpet, my dad told me several times that the three most beautiful songs ever written in America were Stardust by Hoagy Carmichael, and Deep Purple by Peter DeRose, and Johnny Green's Body and Soul. Now, I have never, in my whole 52 years since I've been blowing into a trumpet, I never played Body and Soul. And I've sung it. But anyway, Body and Soul actually was an instrumental hit in 1939 for Coleman Hawkins. And it became kind of a rite of passage of every tenor sax player throughout the 40s and 50s, early 60s to be able to play Body and Soul. But I felt like, man, I'd like to try playing it a little bit in my own style. And so I hope you enjoy my trumpet rendition of Body and Soul. Body and Soul. Thanks for indulging me there. I've just always wanted to play that. Anyway, once again, got a request for my next video, which will be in January. Feel free to send it to chuckparduebigband@yahoo.com. If you feel like putting something in the tip jar, God bless you and appreciate it. Anyway, I mentioned the Eberly brothers, not to be confused with the Everly brothers, but Bob and Ray. That was a comedy team, wasn't it? Anyway, Ray Eberly sang for several years with Glenn Miller's orchestra and continued to sing in the Glenn Miller style for the rest of his career. And this is a song that was a big hit recording for Glenn Miller and Ray Eberly about 1941. It was in one of those movies, I think, Orchestra Wives or Sun Valley Serenade. I don't remember for sure. But I can tell you that I've sung in a big band where I've had to be the boy singer and stand there and wait for the band to get done with this opening chorus. So I'd like to try to recreate a little bit of the Glenn Miller sound with Ray Eberly's vocal on At Last. My lonely days are over, and life is like a song. At last, the skies above are blue. My heart was wrapped in clover the night I looked at you. I found a dream that I could speak to, a dream that I could call my own. I found a thrill to press my cheek to, a thrill I've never known. You smiled, and then the spell was cast, and here we are in heaven, for you are mine at last. No mistaking the Glenn Miller sound there. Stop, I'm not ready for you yet. Anyway, we're going to go back to Harry James land here for this one. And this is a tune that was written by the great Ernie Wilkins. Ernie Wilkins wrote many memorable compositions and arrangements for the Count Basie Orchestra during the 50s and 60s. And at the same time, he was writing for Harry James in his orchestra and continued to write for Harry all the way through the early 60s. And this one appeared on one of the Capitol albums. I think it was Harry's choice. in 1958. And I'm going to be playing Harry's part, hopefully, accompanied by the Harry James Orchestra. This is actually a studio track where the soloist would be laid over top of it in the recording booth. And this is the Harry James Orchestra with, there's heavyweights. I mean, John Audino on lead trumpet, and Ray Sims, lead trombone, of course, Willie Smith on lead alto, Jackie Mills on the drums. And I'm going to play a little bit of the Ernie Wilkins composition, One on the House. for indulging me on that. I've been trying to play Harry's part on that for 52 years, and I'm going to keep trying until I get it right. Anyway, here's a song we're going to pay tribute to the great Tommy Dorsey Orchestra. About 1942, he recorded this song with his vocalist Frank Sinatra. The song actually was a big recording for Bing Crosby, and so Sinatra, following at that point on Crosby's coattails, wanted to get his 2 cents worth in. So I'd like to sing Frank Sinatra's part on the Tommy Dorsey arrangement of Be Careful, It's My Heart. Careful, it's my heart. It's not my watch you're holding, it's my heart. It's not the note that I sent you that you quickly burned. It's not the book I lent you, which you never returned. Remember, it's my heart, a heart with which so willingly I part. It's yours to take, to keep or break, but please, before you start, be careful, it's my heart. Frank went on to record that tune in 1961 with the great Johnny Mandel. A little peppier version of it. Well, here's a song that was written in 1945 by a guy named Ben Homer. And when you look at the composers on the record, it also says Les Brown. And I don't know how much Les had to do with writing it, or if he just got composition rights for royalties. I don't know. But anyway, this is a song that really put Doris Day on the map. And I remember as a boy, my dad gathering all 4 Pardue boys on one side of a twin bed, and Dad would sit on the other, and he'd try to teach us to sing in 4-part harmony. I don't know that it ever worked out so well, but this is one of the songs that he tried to teach us to sing. And this is a great Billy May arrangement for Frank Sinatra of Sentimental Journey. take a sentimental journey. Gonna set my heart at ease. Gonna take a sentimental journey to renew old memories. I've got my bag, I've got my reservation. Spend each dime I could afford, like a child in wild anticipation. I long to hear that all aboard. 7, that's the time we leave at 7, and I'll be waiting up for heaven, counting every mile of railroad track that takes me back. Never thought my heart could be so yearning. Why did I decide to roam? Gonna take a sentimental journey. Sentimental journey home. I'm gonna make that sentimental journey. Sentimental journey home. Sentimental journey home. Interesting fact about that track, Billy May wrote an entire album of tunes for Frank Sinatra called Come Swing With Me, and there were no woodwinds, no saxophones, no clarinets, just all brass, baby. And so that's what makes that little unique version of Sentimental Journey. Well, once again, I hope you've enjoyed the music. If you have, please feel free to put a nickel in the tip jar. It's written right there. I sure would appreciate it. And I'm going to do one more tribute, this one, to the great Count Basie. Perhaps the most enduring of all the big bands. We've always had a Glenn Miller orchestra. I don't think there's been a day since 1939 that there hasn't been a Glenn Miller orchestra. But Count Basie was different. Count Basie had more influence on other musicians and arrangers and band leaders than any other big band leader. And so in I think this is about 1962, Count Basie and Frank Sinatra teamed up for an album. And the album was called Sinatra Basie. And the arrangement is by the wonderful Neil Hefti. And I hope you enjoy this. Are the stars out tonight? I don't care if it's cloudy or bright, 'cause I only have eyes for you. Dear, the moon may be high, but I can't see a thing in the sky, 'cause I only have eyes for you. I don't know if we're in a garden or on a crowded avenue. You are here, so am I. Maybe millions of people go by, but they all disappear from you. And I only have eyes for you. Know if we're in a garden or on a crowded avenue, because you are right here, so am I. Maybe millions of people go by, but they all disappear. Maybe millions of people go by, but they all disappear from you. And I only have eyes for you. Man, that rocks. Anyway, folks, thanks again for coming and hanging out with me for a little while. I hope you have a marvelous new year. I hope it's better for all of us. And I look forward to coming back sometime in January to give you a new video. Thank you so much.